Welcome to my channel. Please enjoy the video.
I noticed that the outrage is different from when a girl is sexually assaulted when a boy is sexually assaulted. People are more sympathetic towards the female celebrities than act out from trauma than the male celebrities. No one seems to talk about the things that have happened to young male celebrities. For example, Chris Brown. Chris Brown was allegedly raped at 8 years old, and older women around him were sleeping with him allegedly when he became famous in his teens. He grew up to become a drug addict that allegedly hates women. And Lil Wayne, he talked about Birdman sending a girl to rape him while he was playing with his toys when he was only 11 years old. Birdman somehow made Lil Wayne think it was okay to kiss him in the mouth and call him daddy. Sounds familiar, guys? Robert Sylvester Kelly. Turk said Birdman made him and BG kiss him too when they were naive little kids and told them that it was a friendly mafia gesture. Wayne drowns himself with drugs and isolation, so did BG, allegedly. They were the closest to Birdman, and he came into both of their lives as adolescents. Guys, and let's not forget, Bow Wow said he lost his virginity at the age of 15 to an adult video vixen. He has been subsequently suicidal and violent as an adult, and the list goes on and on and on, guys. In my opinion, when little boys are raped, people turn a blind eye. They don't know why. It's always been like this. Bootsy had some grown women sleep with his sons, so they didn't turn out gay. Could you guys believe this? The question has already been answered. It's because society is disgusting and doesn't view boys as having sex with older women as rape. It's why whenever there's a news story about a boy being raped by his female teacher in high school, you see a bunch of men in the comment section saying things like, "I wish that was my teacher," like, "I wish that was me," etc. It's actually internalized solidarity with pedophilia based off toxic masculinity. Because they're either shamed into not speaking the truth, and if their people ignored them because they don't view it as serious, if they don't speak their truth, they're subject to ridicule, jokes, and shameful tactics. So when do we respond to it? When do they respond to the negativity and feed into the same way that people who are young girls who are abused the same way? It's called hypersexuality. Because guys, a lot of men would comment on disturbing rape molestation stories of young male celebrities and adult females or male students and female teachers with how they know they wish it was them. And then you have people who think boys want it anytime with anyone in any which way, so they are truly a victim and probably liked it. They'll claim that about the boys. And the simple fact of these logistics of sex and strength difference make female on male rape seen as no big deal, whereas male on male rape is taken much more seriously. Guys, and let's not forget about Usher. He did an interview on Behind the Music, and he stated on that show to the people that was interviewing him that he moved in with Diddy at the age of 13, and we all know he was 10, okay? And he was exposed to orgies and threesomes with adults. He grew up to love older women and became a sexual deviant who admittedly caught herpes. But see guys, the biggest reason why molestation of male celebrities is ignored is because the way men react to it. If it's a female predator, they congratulate the victim. If it's a male predator, a lot of time they'll treat it like a joke or something, which is what happened to Lil Wayne. They already ignored those sexual assaults towards women and girls, weirdly enough. They don't give a F about assaults toward men or boys either. But here on the Sweet TTV YouTube channel, I do. A victim is a victim. A child is a child, whether male or female, doesn't matter. So the others have said, unfortunately, that many men don't feel comfortable speaking out about their experiences because of how masculinity, especially in a place like Hollywood. On top of that, Hollywood is a boys' club. So speaking out against pervs in the industry can easily get someone blackballed. We've seen this many times, particularly before the age of everyone getting exposed. So this stuff gets swept under the rug and the cycle continues unless the victims have enough self-awareness to realize how messed up it is. Case in point, classic Hollywood case. Corey Haim consistently molested on the set of the Lucas to the point where he thought that sort of behavior became normal. With Boys Unto to Corey Feldman had to point out that it was certainly not. He was never the same after that. Obviously never spoke about it out of fear tarnishing his career. It's honestly disgusting and sick, and I just hope that more and more people are getting exposed nowadays. Those people especially, they will get their time. As we see, Robert Sylvester Kelly has been figured out and he has been brought to justice, and his supporters do not want to accept that. However, R. Kelly snitching on individuals in Hollywood has nothing to do with his own actions. Jay-Z was not at his home. P. Diddy was not at his home when he had these little girls, when he were making those tapes and everything, and when he married Aaliyah. So for him to snitch on anybody in Hollywood to get less time, it's not going to work because they were not involved in his escapades. How would he get more time by telling on people who are not connected or had any involvement in his enterprise? That's my opinion, guys. Every story and every situation, I believe, are isolated incidents, and all of these people and these victims and the predatory behavior from the predators are well isolated incidents and are not connected to Robert Sylvester Kelly. So Mr. Kelly, please try again. And once again, guys, I want to stress this. There are entire structures and institutions built around protecting women from sexual assault. But there's no such thing for boys or young men. And I'm not sure why, but once again, kids are kids regardless of gender, and all should be equally protected. So blame the men who created it, not the women being oppressed by it. They shot themselves in the foot many ways before making the system this way. And I do have the utmost sympathy for any victim, famous or not, of sexual assault. And this particular is not my personal fight, but I'll focus more on it than I already do. When I see men fight for women as much as we fight for them, I won't be holding my breath though. See guys, allegedly Chris Brown, not just Usher and Lil Wayne, was allegedly molested by someone in the industry. You need to ask his mama, why didn't she pursue or press any charges, Diane Houghton? Like so many people have said, folks have continued to work with R. Kelly even after finding out what he was accused of. So how did the whole industry just turn a blind eye because so many have done what R. Kelly is accused of doing? Guys, I did a video, I think I took that video down, but look how Donnie swept it under the rug when her drug addict sister was accused of molesting Whitney and Gary. And these are examples, guys, and these are stories. It's public information. And what about Bobby Brown? He was also assaulted by someone when he was in New Edition. And I'm learning on a manager or a priest that he talks about. In my opinion, Usher acts like it was a rite of his passage for Puffy to turn him out. And why none of the older generation did call out the fact that all teenager singers in the 90s was linked to grown men and women. So there's a documentary that needed to be done, and how on Oprah had a story in her hand and she just ignored it. Baby, where was Lil Wayne's mama in this question? It was rumored that she wanted a grandchild, so she made Wayne at 17 get his 14-year-old girlfriend pregnant. Y'all, please trust that this was not an accidental pregnancy. His mama is sick in the head as well, in my opinion. See, Lil Wayne is only a year older than Toya. He was not 17. He was 15 when Reginae was conceived and 16 when she was born. Toya was 14 during the conception and 15 giving birth. So once again, guys, what is going on with these celebrities, parents that put their children in Hollywood in these dangerous situations? Guys, and Chris Brown was allegedly raped by grown women in the industry. I believe his manager was one of them. And Superhead was just bragging about sleeping with him when he was only a teenager. Because as disturbing as this is, guys, in society, young boys who have been exposed to sexual abuse early on, it's not the same with young men and younger women. See, usually the man has warped view on sex, and they're seen as the man. It's almost like a social status among other men. It's really disgusting to me. And allegedly, Chris Brown lost his virginity at the age of 8 to his babysitter. And the fact that the dark part of his life is completely ignored, it baffles me. Along with other male celebrities who have fallen victim to predators in Hollywood. Guys, I cannot stand the double standard when it comes to pedophiles. It's sick. And it's crazy that these young men are being ignored, but you see their symptoms. Like I said, guys, it's just a different story, different name. It's the same story and a different name. Tevin Campbell, he grew up and he's addicted to drugs. Why is Chris Brown having the same symptom? Okay? And why does Lil Wayne have the same symptom as well? And once again, guys, where were the parents? Did they purposefully, like Diane Hunt, allegedly exploit their children? It's seeming that way. See, guys, children are sexless, and sexual abuse is always wrong. I am one of the few who boycotts predators who have only hurt males. Because see, it seems that Chris Brown came out bragging about this, guys. He thinks that it's okay. Just like Aaliyah thought that nothing was wrong with her mother telling her at the very tender age of 10 that she has sexual appeal. And in my opinion, guys, that was a part of Diane grooming Aaliyah. And when Aaliyah said that in her sit-down interview on that TV show, she was telling the world that her mother was grooming her, allegedly. And guys, Chris Brown did an interview on the LA List, okay? He did a sit-down. And Chris Brown spoke and gave a description of losing his virginity at the tender age of 8 years old, and definitely sounds like abuse here. You guys can just listen and give your opinions. So Chris Brown gave an interview with The Guardian, which his mother shouldn't even have been his guardian at the time. And anyway, the part that has received the most attention in his story is losing his virginity at 8 years old. So far, very few of his outlets picked up on the interview and have pointed out that the 8-year-old and having sex at all, much less with a high schooler, definitely sounds abusive. Brown told the story in his interview, and they asked him about his first time, which I don't know why they asked him that. It's disgusting. And he explained that as a kid, he used to hang out with a bunch of male cousins and they used to watch porn. He says that by the time he was 8 years old, kind of like hot to trot, you know what I'm saying? He says he had sex with a local girl who was 14 or 15, and he doesn't say how he really felt about it or offered any more details about the first time, but he frames it as an experience that helped him beat a beast in the sack. Yes, he used the word beast. So, at 8 years old and being able to do it kind of preps you for the long run so you can be a beast at it. Okay, this doesn't sound right, Chris. And where was Mama Brown when you was doing this interview, little boy? Because that's exactly what he sounded like, 8 years old, which he wasn't on this interview. He was of age and grown, but this is what he was stating to the interviewers. Then he went on to state, but most women who have any complaints, if they've been with me, they can't really complain. It's all good. So to me, guys, in my opinion, Chris Brown really thinks that these kind of actions are normal. To have had your virginity taken at the tender age of 8, and now you grow up, and now he seems sexually hyperactive like Robert Sylvester Kelly, guys. Are you picking up on this? Let me know. Because see, part of the reason that no one is calling this straight up rape or abuse may have to do with the way Chris Brown talks about it in his experience to The Guardian. See, guys, in my opinion, a child cannot consent to sex because they're a child. They're not an adult. So age of consent laws are very tricky, and they are very widely, not just from culture to culture, but from state to state within the U.S. Recently in Florida, there was a debate about changing its laws when an 18-year-old Caitlin Hunt found herself sentenced to jail time for having sex with a 14-year-old high school classmate. So in my opinion, having sex with a fellow high school student might be one thing, but a high schooler having sex with an 8-year-old, that's another. Brown grew up in Virginia where he wasn't even close to the age of consent, which is 13 years old. It's against the law for minors more than 3 years apart to have sex, about double of the age difference in Chris Brown's case. We're going to go out on a limb and suggest that this case would be pretty easy to prosecute in any state or Western country. Really, guys? Well, it sounds like abuse to me, but most people tend to look at men's stories of statutory rape in a different light, and that may be doubly true for Chris Brown, who isn't exactly sympathetic in this character to begin with. Even Jezebel, a website that typically wouldn't question the story of an alleged child abuse victim, suggested that Chris Brown was bending the truth to make itself sound like some sort of mystical sex Jesus. The site wrote that Chris Brown turned the personal confession into yet another opportunity to showcase how unpleasant he seems about the whole situation. So it's true that Brown is not entirely pleasant in that interview, though it's very interesting to read, guys. And guys, I'm not sure if you've seen that video of Lil Wayne. It was a leaked video of Lil Wayne telling a boy he would have him raped like Baby raped him. It's on YouTube. So guys, sexual assault against young boys in Hollywood is truly a crisis. And we have to keep speaking on this because it's very important. And no wonder why they grow up to be so careless in their relationships, careless with their lovers, and careless with their bodies. Consuming drugs and alcohol and doing God forbidden things. Like Chris Brown. Chris Brown said he had to listen to his stepfather beat on his mother. And look what he did, guys, when he got with Rihanna. He couldn't control his temper. So he grew to hate women like his dad did. And guys, that is just something that is pushed down from the cycle. And it has to stop. So the rape and molestation of young minors in Hollywood is just as important as young female victims, in my opinion. And we have to keep speaking out about this, guys. That's the only way we're going to change this cycle. Thanks for watching.
Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell.